about 60 seconds. Welsh.
Okay, my name's Tom Welsh, and I've been in Las Vegas for 27 years. Was born in Indiana, raised in California, went into the Navy in 1955, so I'm a veteran. My education was in California. I'm a past potentate here of the Shrine. I've been involved in the moose and elks and things of this nature. Like I said, I've done a lot of things here in Las Vegas.
Mr. Hutchison.
Good afternoon. It's wonderful to be here with you. My name is Mark Hutchison. I'm a native of Las Vegas. My father is somebody who was raised here. My grandfather came here and began working for the test site from Kentucky. Came back to the west side of the country through the CCC program during the Depression. Our family has been in Las Vegas ever since. And we love Las Vegas. We love Nevada. I graduated from Bonanza High School here. My children have been educated in Las Vegas. I have lived in District 6 for 20 years. My law firm is in District 6. And many of my friends and neighbors are people that I've known for decades. And I got involved in this race because I wanted to help become part of the solution and not part of the problem. I think my father was correct when he used to tell me you're either part of the problem or you're part of the solution in virtually any challenge. And I'd like to see Nevada restored along with the United States restored to this opportunity and growth and blessed state and country where we've all grown up. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's start the panel. Questions over here on the left. You want to start?
Thank you. These questions to both of you, and you both have a chance to respond. But Mr. Welsh, Hire a Vet is a program that's out there now trying to specifically target the newly discharged veterans. Give us your thoughts on Hire a Vet.
I think that we should do everything that we can to help them get back into the civilities of the community that they've coming back. They need all the help that they can get with their families and everything. I would try to see that it could be done in the best way. And the way I would look at it is, I would look at things in common sense. What is right and what is wrong, and try to do the best that way.
I'm a big supporter of that type of a program. I think, though, that a key element of that is going to be the job training program aspect of it. I just toured PBS and met with the general manager there. They've got an extensive job training program online that is available to all of our citizens, including our veterans. But the thing that's going to be a challenge is Las Vegas used to be a place of opportunity because there were so many construction-related jobs, developments. This city was rocking and rolling. Those jobs are gone, and they're not coming back for a long, long time. And so we have to really, I think, place our resources and our energies on retraining people who typically we would absorb as a community in the construction industry and be able to retrain them and retool them in a variety of areas. But I think that's going to be essential because it used to be Vegas was just as a big absorption of employment, and we don't have that anymore now. But we need to retrain and retool people.
Okay, follow-up question in opposite order. A semi-known percentage of veterans coming back post-military service are functionally unemployable. Would you support, sponsor legislation to give veterans a break as far as setting up their own businesses? The licensing, would you sponsor legislation that would make it easier at state and local level?
Well, I'll give you an initial philosophy, which is I think in general that government plays a limited role in people's lives, and that we should encourage individual responsibility, individual development. I do think we have a special responsibility, though, for veterans, and would support programs that would benefit veterans coming back and who are affected because of their service and they aren't able to find a job or an employment. I would be very supportive of those kind of programs because I think we have a special relationship with veterans.
Yes, I would try to find programs that would fit the veterans that are coming back that are having a hard time. They're just one of us, but they've had a different situation. So they need to be helped. Yes, anything that would be put forward to help them, yes, I'd be there for them.
Melody?
Thank you for coming today. Clark County has a large homeless population, and a majority of those homeless are veterans. What have you done in your community to support homeless veterans or veterans in general?
Well, I'll be happy to start. I have been involved in my church for my entire life, and we provide services, and we provide assistance, and we provide training for those who are in need, and it is throughout all of Las Vegas. And those programs are available through our church, and I've been intimately involved as a leader, as a line worker in my church, helping all kinds of different types of people who may need the help. I will tell you what my philosophy is on this in general, and that is homelessness is a manifestation of deeper challenges and problems. Oftentimes you've got people who maybe have psychological challenges, people who have drug addictions, and people who just have or are unemployable for some reason. And to me, it seems that what we can do best as a society is to help people get out of that cycle of homelessness by addressing those issues. And I would be willing to address those issues through private incentives as well as through government services.
Mr. Welch?
Well, I haven't really been involved in the veterans to help out or anything like that. My helping has been with kids that I've been working with the Shriners and Masons and things like that. We have all kinds of programs that we do for the kids. So basically on that line, with the veterans, I haven't done anything hearsay like he's saying he has. But I have a great respect for the veterans for what they've done because of being a veteran. And my dad was a veteran as well, and my uncles and all. The whole families were veterans. And it was hard when they came back and they survived. And that's what I would help them to survive with the programs that we can put for them to go forward.
All right, thank you. Mr. Brown, do you have any questions?
Yeah, Mr. Hutchison, I want to sort of...
Sorry.
He wants me to ask about medicinal marijuana, but both of you look like you're already users, so I think I can guess what your positions would be. So we'll move on to some economics here.
To a softball question, right?
Yeah, right. I think I may have seen you guys, as a matter of fact, at one of our cannabis clubs earlier, just gathering some signatures or politicking or something. You talked about retraining and retooling people. I mean, very pointed observation. You know that the construction boom isn't just going to bloom again overnight. And you know, Nevada has a great tax environment for businesses, at least compared to California. You know, what we don't have, it seems, is, let me rephrase that.
He used some of my time.
No, I restarted it when he started the
IT
question.
businesses, biotech businesses, alternative energy businesses, they don't seem inclined to come here because of lack of an educated workforce and the lack of the school system for their current employees. So it seems we need to address two of those things to make Nevada a genuinely attractive haven for new businesses, which will diversify the economy, which I think is probably what we need.
Is there a question coming?
How do we do that? You know, how do we balance the very attractive tax environment with real-world considerations for new, diverse businesses here?
Well, I'll give you my quick thoughts about that, Mr. Brown. I think that we have to target the type of jobs that are being created and can be created in Las Vegas. Let me give you a perfect example of that. The Switch Communication Center and the Data Processing Center, they cannot hire enough high-tech engineers. We don't produce them. We ought to have either in the community college or UNLV a program so that we can match those jobs with those kind of businesses. That's the kind of business we ought to have just coming to Las Vegas. We're perfectly situated for that type of data processing, for that kind of data storage, with our geography, with our climate, and we ought to then match that now with the community college program where we're just pumping out those kind of engineers. And I agree with you 100%. That's a great way to diversify our economy and to create jobs.
Mr. Welch?
Well, it seems like every time we turn around, we're stripping the budget some way or another for our kids so that they can't learn. We got to stop that kind of stuff and come back to teaching them what they need for the 21st century. We've got to find the money, so that we can do this. We gotta find the teachers so that they can teach them properly of what has to be done. Once that they're taught, then they can be hired or go on and do the better jobs that we need. As it is now, our system is 50th out of 50 states. We're at the bottom. It's time that we get back up onto the top.
To Mr. Lau.
The veterans, the VA here in in Nevada is failing to keep up with the flow of troops coming back that are injured, that need services. Because of that, the states, the counties, the hospitals, the police, all the services are having to absorb a lot of those people that are falling through the cracks, like Stanley Gibbs, for example, who was shot and killed, who had veterans issues that weren't being kept up with. Should we as a state pursue somehow the federal government for those resources and reimbursements for their failure to take care of the troops coming back?
Here again, if they're coming here, we've got to help them make worthwhile for the community. So we help them in any way. If you let them go, we're going to have nothing but problems. So if it isn't the government, then we have to find another way to step up and do it. We've got to, here again, think of what we have to do. Common sense. I keep saying common sense. It isn't just for one or for the other. We've got to do it the right way.
Mr. Hutchison.
And I think that if the federal government is not doing their job, then we should hold the federal government accountable. That was the system that was devised by the founding fathers. The state government has a very strong role to play in national affairs. So if the VA is not doing what they're supposed to be doing, then, for example, the legislature ought to hold hearings and call back from Washington officials to come talk to us, including Harry Reid and Joe Hack and whoever else, and say why isn't the federal government addressing our Nevada veterans issue? So I think that the Nevada legislature can play an important role, not only in its own governmental actions, but also holding the federal government accountable. So if there are issues like that, we can deal with them.
Doctor, how's our time doing?
I'm not sure when's our next panel?
At 1:25.
One. How long is this one supposed to be going to?
Well, I think this was
124.
It's 1:07.
Right.
So we've got room for a couple more questions.
This was a long one right here. This was a 40-minute one.
I think this
Yeah,
is lunch.
Bloody Mary.
Should we do a last question or should we close?
It's up to the panel.
Come on, ask the doctor. Yeah, ask your
We
question.
can go 2 questions. Let's do 2
Come on.
questions.
All right.
They're here.
Really quickly then, what is the thing that Nevada is currently doing that is most slowing or getting in the way of economic development? That is, what thing that we're doing or what law that we have now should we just push out of the way because it's in the way instead of helping?
Well, I can tell you, as somebody who has been involved intimately up close with the most massive regulation that's going to be imposed upon people in this country through the healthcare legislation, that the #1 thing that government can do to get out of the way of private businesses is overregulation and burdensome regulations. I'll just give you one example of a friend of mine who is trying to expand his solar water heating company that for the most part heats swimming pools. He's got to get multiple licenses in different municipalities. He has to wait months on end in order for a government inspector to come out and inspect his project before he can finish that project and move on to the next one or to release it to the homeowner. We have to just make it so that government is trying to do all they can to expedite business, whether it's through limited licensing, limited fees, limited regulation. And I don't have a specific thing to give you, but I can just tell you in general that's what we need to do.
Mr. Welch.
I don't know of anything that really that I can think of to speed it up. To me, in my business, I'm down here at M&I International. We're down here a couple blocks. Things are turning for us, so it looks good. I can't think of any rules or laws that right now that we'd have to change. Again, this is something I'd have to look into before I make a decision on something like that.
All right. One more question. Who wants to go? Rowena? Anyone down there?
Where do you feel state funds are being wasted?
Mike,
The question was, where do you feel state funds are being wasted?
Well, I can tell you,
You only have 20 minutes.
I'll have 20 minutes. I can tell you that in general, just as a small businessman, your largest expenditure are your personnel, right? Your payroll. The state, its largest expenditure is going to be it's going to be payroll, it's going to be health, it's going to be public services that way, through the personnel. I think we have to take a hard look at restructuring how we pay government employees and how they are compensated. And there has to be reform. I think most reasonable people will say the current system at all levels cannot sustain itself throughout the next several decades. There has to be a complete revamping of the way that we look at compensation for public employees, and that can take a variety of approaches. But in general, that's what I think the most wasteful and most efficient way that we can save the state money is through personnel matters.
I hit the wrong guy.
Before, I'd have to look into that. I'm not that familiar with it to be able to answer your question on what should be cut and what shouldn't be cut. Here again, I would have to look at all the issues to make sure that it would be the right way.
That's the end of our questions, but I may have a follow-up if I could for Mr. Hutchison, since you said we need to revamp the way our employees are paid.
Right.
And all state employees, we need to revamp their pay. State employees in Nevada are paid 1/3 less than local government employees. So what would you do? Was your intent is to redo local government or state government?
My intent is primarily focused on local government and all of the abuses that we've heard about for the last decade, where they are not underpaid, they are overpaid. Their pension benefits are excessive, their salary benefits are excessive, and so I think that that's probably the greatest cost saving is at that local level. And I think you're right. I think we have to look at that and say, are they compensated fairly? Let's just compensate them fairly. If they're not, then let's get it fair. If they are overpaid, let's get them cut back.
Thank you. All right.